And we're joined by possibly the hottest band in the UK right now. And Venny, I know you'll agree with me.
I will.
Wilkie, bass player from Malevolence, is here with us for the next 25, 30 minutes or so. So thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely no problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
How's things been in general recently?
Absolutely mental, to be honest with you. We just come off the Architects Arena tour. Just before that, we did those gigs in Ireland, which were quite different, as you can imagine. And that finished just over a week ago. I got home, and this week our album comes out. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but our album comes out this week. Then we're going to Malta on Sunday. So my life's pretty hectic right now. Amazing.
I'm going to go straight for the jugular on this question, because it's been hotly, myself and Venny have been discussing this. You're signed to Nuclear Blast now.
Yeah.
You've just come off arena tours with Architects. You've just been announced headlining Bloodstock stage.
Yeah.
Is the feeling in the Malevolence camp that this is it now and you are now getting the rewards?
Yeah, that is absolutely the feeling right now, to be honest with you, mate. It's quite crazy for us because you're probably aware, if you know about our band, that we've been doing this shit our whole adult lives. We've been touring for 10 years. So to be able to play like Alexandra Palace, even just a few years ago, like I never thought that would be possible. You know what I mean? So it's pretty fucking surreal, to be honest with you, mate. And we've been working on this for a long time. So to people to finally start turning their heads and giving us a lot of praise, saying a lot of kind things, like even yourself, this introduction is fucking mad. So yeah, thank you.
I don't think anyone who knows, like you said, Wilkie, who knows the band and your past history will ever begrudge you of the absolute hard work, the touring your asses off, putting yourself about, begrudge you where you are today. And from, I probably speak for Venny as well, you're 100% deserving of where you are, totally deserving.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, mate, I think so too.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad that you're honest like that, because a lot of people are very opposite of that.
A lot of these bands we last summer we just did Download Bloodstock. A lot of these bands we're playing with, it was the first gig, or even we just toured with Architects. Some of the people on the tour, like in the other support bands, had never been on tour before, and I'm like, whoa, like this is your first tour, like we're playing in Ali Pali, playing arenas and stuff. So yeah, I think we deserve it too. Not to say those people don't deserve it. That wasn't what I was trying to say. But I think that, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we did.
Is there any limit to the growth? Is there a ceiling? Is there a glass ceiling Malevolence can't get past, do you think?
I don't really think about that kind of stuff too much. What do you think? Because I see it very differently to you, because I'm a part of the band. So like from an outsider's perspective, you probably have a clearer vision on it than myself.
Maybe. I'm quite pleased you asked that, because it's something we've talked about on the show. I've brought up, and it's a bit of a controversial thing, but I have compared Malevolence to the modern day Pantera in what could be your trajectory. You are a heavy band, there's no denying that, but there's technicality, musicality, accessibility in there that would appeal to a very broad demographic, a very broad church. So if you're asking me, and I'm a big fan, but if you're asking me, I think your limits are pretty boundless, to be honest.
Thank you. I think so too, actually. I think that our songs could definitely go much, much further than they have. And have you guys heard the new record? Yeah. So like there's a few songs on there I think are like commercial bangers. Have you heard Higher Place? Like that, and it seems like a radio song to me. Like I even can't believe we're making music that soft to begin with. Like, whoa, this is us now. But yeah, I think that we could have serious commercial appeal. I have no idea how far we can take it. There's certain elements of the band that aren't like necessarily that marketable, in my opinion. But honestly, mate, like I said, in my answer to your last question, I didn't think that we'd be able to go as far as we are now, even just a few years ago. Because like even the bands, a lot of the bands that I looked up to, like as a teenager and in my early 20s, we'd have probably surpassed them in size. So I already, for me, we've kind of already broken what glass ceiling I had it in my head. But I do think the music is also very, very marketable. And another thing is that I think that the quality of our songs is as good as the best people in the genre. So yeah, I do think it can go very far.
That's great, man. I mean, that you've kind of played exactly into what our question list was going to be. The second question was exactly that. We want to talk about the new album. We've had Malicious Intent for a while. We've not done our own review on it on the show. Joey and I like to keep our powder dry a little bit towards each other and how we feel about it. But I just wanted to ask you, compared to the last two albums EP, what different directions or what boundaries are you pushing with Malicious Intent? And in particular, I'm kind of thinking of Higher Place in particular when I ask that question.
There's more singing. There's a lot more singing. The sound has 100% progressed. The song structures are quite a bit more traditional, in the sense that there's choruses in a lot of the songs. Now, maybe some people won't like that, but we have 100% progressed in the way we sound and as people and the way we operate the business, without a doubt.
What was the turning point into, like you said, this new model or template in adding choruses? Was it the band were you guys fed up of playing the same template, or was it just something clicked?
Yeah, I think we were trying to write songs rather than just medleys of riffs. Do you guys play in bands? Like, do you at all?
Not to any level. But I mean, I'm just going to argue that point a little bit, because if you go right back to the start and like turn to Stone, for example, off the first album, you've always had that in your DNA, that kind of.
Yeah. We have people. I know people are like, when the other side came out, shocked, like, oh, this song's so soft, it sounds like Creed. And we were like, well, hold on, like we've done it. We had like ballads on our first album in 2013. Like, this has always been something that we've done. However, I think if you listen to Self Supremacy, a lot of the song structures are like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's like literally there's no repetition. It's just riff after riff after riff. We call it riff salad. And I think that's cool as well. I like a lot of metal that has that kind of structure, and we still do have it in a little bit, but there is a leaning towards the more traditional side of things, because we're trying to make songs, not just a section of riffs after one another, things you can sing along to. And it's not an intentional stab at mainstream appeal. It's just, we're just trying to make best music we can, really.
And you keep saying about like commercial mainstream, and I know exactly what you're talking about, but
yeah,
when I think of what, let's just take Broken Glass and the chorus in that, which that has that real sort of crowbar, Nola sort of downy style stuff, and no one has ever accused like Down of saying they're commercial. Like, so I just think it's great that you know, like you said, where you've come from and where you've now got this massive expansive album that's going to be released on Friday. And I'm just, how excited are you for everyone to hear it in full? Like?
Very, very, very excited, to be honest with you. I think it's going to go down great. I think my prediction's that it's going to take a while for it to fully set in with all of the people that it needs to. I think that our fans will hear it now, in next week when it comes out, or this week when it comes out, and in a year's time, more people that aren't our fans are gonna, you know, it takes a little bit of time for the wheels to turn and for the music to spread. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about it, for people to hear the songs. Like we really put a lot into the whole thing. So absolutely.
And a question, a kind of a follow-up on the musical aspects of it, of where the band. So this is not me, but taking outsiders who don't know your band so well, you might often be kind of dismissed as a straight down the line kind of metallic hardcore band. And, you know, there is that kind of thuggish element to a lot of hardcore. And but for me, you've always had, and this goes right back to the start, you've always had a much higher level of technicality. Like you look at what Josh does, or your drummer, there's always to Malevolence had that musical flair and technicality that your Communal Garden bands don't have. Is that a fair statement, that you think sometimes Malevolence have been slightly overlooked and now people are just starting to open their eyes to what all the ingredients in the band are there?
Mate, I think what you just said then described it better than I possibly could. It was absolutely 100% nail on the head, what you just said. That has happened. That's happened until very, very recently. We were often compared to bands like Nasty and Desolated. I don't know if you know those bands, like they're my friends and stuff. And like we did play a lot of shows with them, but all it's just breakdowns for the whole thing. And people just thought, yeah, we're like a hardcore band, like we're beat down, we're just playing breakdowns. People thought that for years and years and years, I think. And, you know, for example, this is a reference. We played Bloodstock last summer, and that moment was a real turning point for our band in sort of being appreciated by like the real metalheads. And I was kind of thinking, hold on, like we've been playing these songs for years. Like they're not even new songs. Like these songs came out years ago in the north of England. We've been playing shows to like even like 1,000 people in our hometown Sheffield, to these exact same songs, and we're playing them here, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you guys are amazing." We're like, "Yeah, like we've been doing this." Like, yeah, you know, we've been a metal band for years, whole life. So yeah, people are just finally picking up on it, and yeah, absolutely, that's exactly what's happened. I'm grateful now, but essentially we are metal guys. Like we started out, we wanted to be a metal band. All of our influences were metal, and that is still our intention now. Like we are a metal band, 100%.
I think if you go back and listen to Reign of Suffering, there's no doubt where your band has come from, and that for me, even compared to Self Supremacy, that is a much more metal record. Like you look at the whole, if you look at the whole package and the cover art and everything else, like there's no denying that. So yeah, I'm glad that chimes with you, because I've always felt it as a bit of an injustice that people are judging a book by its cover a little bit when it comes to your band.
I think a lot of it was probably because of the way we looked and like the way we were branded and things like that. Like I know that like when we had like crazy music videos, and I mean we didn't really look like traditional metal guys, and that probably like was not a very good move for us. You know what I mean? Like in terms of growing the project, but like we were just like, oh yeah, let's just like make a music video. It looks like a rap video, and then goes out on the Century Media Records YouTube, and everyone's just like taking the piss out of us in the comments. So that was probably why. Is my theory.
But also, I think, sorry, Jerry,
no, you're right,
on a bit, mate. But I also think now you've come through the other side of it, it also gives you a very strong identity that not many bands have. Like, look, I'm sure you're very grateful to Architects for taking you out, and I really like them. But if you look at their brand, it's not dissimilar to a whole heap of other bands. So you now have got your very own kind of unique and authentic, I think.
I know what you mean. We definitely have done we've got our own thing going on in the way we're branded, and it's taken a while to get there, to be honest with you. But it does pay off if you stick to your guns and you just do your own thing, and I think that eventually that shines through with people, because I feel like it's when people aren't doing their own thing and it's just another, you see a band and it's like a bunch of guys have gone, okay, let's make a band that looks and sounds like this, like the hot thing of the moment. It's just always very transparent. So that kind of thing never really lasts as much, I suppose.
And the metal scene as well, like it's flooded at the moment, and that's down to, you know, social media and streaming services. Like there's so much music out there, so it's very hard to find that unique identity. And I'm just going to reiterate what Venny said, that Malevolence now is this, I don't want to use the phrase some kind of monster and rip off Metallica, but it does seem to be, it has that momentum now, and the ceiling, there is no limit, going back to Venny's point.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, I really hope that we can grow and lots of people like our band and we can play big shows and all of that. It'd make my life really nice if we could do that. So I hope it all happens. It's I'll be honest, it's quite strange for me at the moment because I'm doing these podcasts or interviews and people are like, yeah, like you guys are going to grow loads and your band's going to be really big and you're going to do all this big stuff. And I'm like, but what if it doesn't? Because now everyone said that we're going to be a massive band. What if we're not? Like we're going to just, you know, it's quite strange actually, to be honest.
But quite humbling as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's lovely to hear, and I hope that we can take it a bit further, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you are sitting on 2 excellent albums, a really strong EP, and you're sitting on Malicious Intent that you're releasing on Friday. Do you know, I think you are in such a strong position for people to be saying that exact thing. Yeah,
brilliant. Thank you.
Wilkie, you went from, I saw you in Dublin on a Friday night in a place called Whelan's, and then I think you went up to Belfast the night after, potentially.
Yeah.
It was the first underground hardcore show I'd ever been to in Whelan's, and I just stood on the edge of the pit because it was carnage in there. But describe to me the feeling of walking out in that show in Dublin one week, and then the next week walking out at Alexandra Palace.
2 very different beasts, to be honest. Now, I love both. Like that night in Dublin, I had a sick time. I'll be honest, like the show in Dublin, that was like very like within my comfort zone, as in that like we've been doing that shit for so long that's very normal to me. You know, let's be real, there was 200 people there at the very most, I'd have thought. Something like that. And to be honest, that was all from where I was stood, that was all we needed in that room to have a good time. Yeah, I mean, the vibe was absolutely sick. I felt like it was, you know, it was a really good night. Then Alexandra Palace, that was the 4th show on the arena tour. So by then I was quite accustomed to the way it all worked and stuff, and playing a gig like that. Because of course you're absolutely miles away from the audience. And then there's like, it's really, you know, some of the rooms are really dark. So you can only see like the first few rows at points, you know, with the light. So kind of feels like you're playing, but there's loads of people watching you, but like on YouTube, and you're being filmed. Like that's the vibe. It's like, okay, I'm performing. There's a lot of scrutiny on the way I look and my playing. Whereas like in Dublin, the whole room's a mosh pit. There's people flying off the stage, screaming the lyrics in my face. Honestly, if I just stopped playing for about 20 seconds, probably half the room wouldn't notice. Like, let's be real. Like, I don't know. I give it 10, 15 seconds. People probably wouldn't notice for a moment if I just stopped playing. So yeah, they're 2 completely different beasts. And I love both, to be honest. Very grateful to be able to do both.
There was a lovely, like I said, I stayed right on the edge of the pit. There's no way at my age I was getting in there. Been there, done that. But the moment I did get in, there's a lovely point where you played the other side, and a lovely moment about talking about mental health, about people lost this year. Oh, sorry, the last year. Like this has been, the mental health has been in the spotlight so much the last year. It's actually getting a lot of spotlight because of COVID and things like that. Like that moment there, you know, to go from, like you said, the room being a complete mosh pit to just everyone side by side must be, for you on stage to see that as well, must be quite a special moment.
Yeah, we actually do that every single night. Right. We play the other side right before Keep Your Distance, and Alex, he generally dedicates that song to either, you know, a few people, or he just gives a speech about, you know, just mental health awareness, really, and for men to speak to one another. And it is nice to have, you know, let's be real, the Malev show is like fairly childish. It's like, yeah, everyone running, you know, everyone running in a circle, and then, you know, just have that, you know, one fairly conscious message, you know, you know, just say something positive, and try and make a difference if there is possible to do so, you know what I mean. Also, it's a really lovely just moment in the set, just to relax for the, you know, for the audience, just to sing a song. And we like to show what else we can offer as a band. And now, you know, when Malicious Intent is out, we'll probably do several softer songs. We've got a bit more to offer than just like really hard metal tunes. So we, you know, you've heard the record, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Can't wait to see that live.
Yeah. So we've never played it live, actually. Probably not going to until Download, I think. Well, I guess
when I saw you guys in Newcastle on your Small Sets tour, did you not play Broken Glass then as a little tantalizing release? I'm sure you played a new track, and I'm pretty sure it's Broken Glass.
Yeah, we played it. We were playing it on that just as like just to show people, because we wanted to play a new song, really.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's going to sound very good. Like I'm sure you got to go. I've got one last question to round it out from my side. We talked about the musical aspects of you guys, your progression, but I think you guys are also leading away in other fronts, like particularly your merch, which certainly I am, but Joey is also a bit of a sucker for. Your social media, you're absolute kings of, and also the label, the imprint. It is, Joey said a bit earlier, like some kind of monster that you've created this whole big momentum. But how important is all that other stuff alongside the music?
Okay, so I'm glad you've asked that, because my personal role in Malevolence, I don't write any riffs or song. I don't write any guitar parts whatsoever. I help with the lyrics and putting the choruses and the hooks together with Alex. But my main role in the band, I design all of the merch. I design every single piece you see. I've been designing all day today. I run the label with Charlie, the drummer, and I handle the social media and just mainly the more business kind of things. That's generally the role I take, because I'm not that good at guitar, really. But I see the merchandise and the branding and the label. That's like another form of creative expression for me, and I get a lot out of it.
Did you do the advent calendar?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I made it.
That was one of my favorite things on social media that I ever saw, was that Insta post of, baby, are you okay? You've hardly touched your Malev. I just was crying with laughter about that. I'm
really, really glad you appreciated that, man, because that's the exact thing I do it for, just to make people laugh. It's like, let's just make the most ridiculous, like silly merchandise just for the sake of putting it on social media and, you know, it being a thing and engaging with people in that way. And I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, you made the two of us laugh a lot over that. So
let me tell you, I've just done a new T-shirt today. It's got a burger on the back, and it says "Delicious Intent."
Oh, nice.
100% pit beef.
I mean,
yeah,
I thought the breakfast cereal one was pretty amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's my next. My wife's gonna just be like, "Who are this band? Why have you got so many of their T-shirts?" But that's my next one.
That's amazing. Thank you very much.
Well,
feed him. Let me go here.
Listen, Wilkie, we'll love you and leave you, but just from me, thanks so much for your time. This has been great. Real blast.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me on.
And best of luck for the album on Friday. It's I won't spoil it because Venny will tell me off, but Venny, do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you, man. I've been a fan for years. I must have seen you about 10 times. Keep doing what you're doing. And and the next Pantera. I'm sticking to my guns on that.
Thank you. We'll see you at download.
Yeah, I'll see you at download. Cheers for having me on.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, mate.